The planet Venus is the planet that is responsible for bringing the light. In fact, it is translated as the light bringer. Whenever we are in the territory of Venus, we are taking a look at love, friendship, we're taking a look at balancing things, we're taking a look at pleasure and grace and art, and perhaps even theater and drama, anything that has to do with beauty, anything that falls under the subject of beauty, and the forces of attraction. We're taking a look at these types of themes. On the opposite spectrum of all of these things, we are taking a look at vanity. We're taking a look at perhaps being too lazy. Venus sometimes can also represent social expectations. It can represent shallowness and the craving for love, the craving for connection. These are the types of themes that we are taking a look at as we head into March of 2024. You are listening to Aylin Sky Astro, an astrology podcast that helps you on how to take action now and in the future. I hope that everybody is having a good year so far. I do have to say that the feeling, the vibe of this year, the beginning of this year has been quite dramatic. Tons of stuff unfolding. Almost seems like there's not a whole lot of grounding. There's a lot of sort of emoting that is happening. And I wanted to just share a couple of insights that I'm having from my own personal life before we dive further into today's podcast. And that is, the beginning of this year for me has been a lot about repeating patterns. And I believe that this has a lot to do with that transit that we're finishing up with Pluto in Capricorn and then Pluto moving into Aquarius. It's felt very like, wow, we are repeating patterns from the past. But what I've noticed about myself was, even though some of these patterns I have repeated over and over again, and what I'm talking about, same type of relationship dynamics, okay? People that are coming in and out of my life where I start to realize, wow, I have actually dealt with this pattern before where I didn't feel maybe necessarily the kind of connection that I was really longing for in certain friendships with certain people, and it can be even acquaintances. I have repeated some patterns here that I've noticed in the beginning of this year. The reason why things have felt so kind of dramatic is because I believe that we have really up-leveled in our awareness. Our collective conscious is definitely gaining a lot more awareness. It is definitely understanding, hey, we really have to pause here for a moment and we have to take a look at, why are certain things really repeating in our life? Why are we having such a hard time moving to something better? Why are we addicted to chaos? Why are we addicted to the same old patterns over and over again? And we see this in astrology, right? Just like the moon is moving through a pattern every month, we are also moving through patterns. And some of these patterns, we exchange them for a different storyline, but we have to learn certain things before we can move on, before we can up level. And certainly I have made this experience myself. I know with Pluto finishing up its transit in my fourth house of upbringing, there has been a lot of sort of this understanding of what powers come to play when I am not putting down proper, boundaries with people, where I am showing up and more is being taken and not enough balance exists, not enough respect exists within my relationship. So these are my personal sort of, insights that I wanted to share with you. And I hope that this helped you. I hope that this podcast today is going to help you and kind of give you a little bit of peace of mind that if you feel ungrounded, if you feel like you don't know where life is going, just know we're all in the same boat, okay? We are all trying to figure out certain patterns and we're trying to really release them. And that's why I believe that March and this particular full moon in Libra is going to play such a big role. So I hope that you enjoyed today's podcast. Let's dive into it. Before we dive into today's podcast, I want to share with everyone and all my listeners that I'm super excited to announce that I have a new project that I'm launching. It's launching May of 2024, but I have started creating the platforms so that you can follow along with this journey. It is going to be a new project that is near and dear to my heart. It's something that I have been working on for a while, and you can follow me and this new project on Instagram at soulsky23_. This is going to be the handle to follow. I will leave them in the description box below as well. You will hear me talk about it a lot more as the weeks progress. You are going to be able to follow along this journey as it's unfolding. I would love for you to be a part of it. So make sure you check that out. I also have Instagram handle and TikTok handle for Aylin Sky Astro, and it's exactly that. It's Aylin Sky Astro. That is for Instagram and for TikTok, and you can always follow me along on YouTube as well, as there are new videos that will be dropping that might be beneficial to your journey right here on earth, right? Things that you're trying to learn about astrology. New videos will come out starting this week, so make sure you follow me on YouTube as well. In today's podcast, you are going to be listening to a live recording that I have done on Instagram and YouTube, where I extensively cover the full moon that is unfolding March 25th of this year. I am diving a little bit deeper into what the themes are and what they actually mean for the collective, and then I go into all of the sun and rising signs. Always refer to the description box below if you're wanting to kind of skip ahead to your sign and you want to just listen to your sign or your rising or your moon sign. All of these things can matter to you when you're trying to put the bigger picture together, when you're trying to be prepared for the month ahead. And that is what today's podcast is intended for, is for you to be prepared, for you to know where the influences are working for you best. So for the ones that don't know me, my name is Aylin Sky. I'm an astrologer and numerologist. And today we are going to be taking a look at the full moon and the overall sort of energy for March of 2024. It's going to be all about relationships because this full moon is going to be on the 25th of 2024, and it's going to be in the sign of Libra. Now, I want to point out one of the things that's really interesting about this full moon is that there are two different timelines that we're working. It is truly going to be a timeline between the old and the new. And how are we going about it? Okay, so relationships are going to be tested. That's definitely one of the things that I'm seeing with the overall energy in March. Relationships are being tested. How are they being tested? It has to do with old energies sort of dying off at this time. Why are old energies dying off? Because Saturn is in Pisces. Some things are right now outdated, especially in relationship dynamics. There are going to be some relationships that are going to feel like we are cooling off from those relationships, or those relationships are no longer working. We're realizing that there's nothing else left in common. So relationships are going to be under this sort of magnifying glass at this time. And so all of March can bring sort of this drama around a lot of that, wanting to break through out of old sort of lame energies. You know, we don't want to be stuck in a lame energy anymore. And that is the energy all throughout, March and even leading into April, because once this full moon is unfolding, we are going to have a lot of these energies run into April, because we're going to clash with sort of new energies now, and we're going to have to work them out and integrate them, and a lot of them will become even more of part of our reality when Saturn moves into Aries, and that's not going to happen until 2025. However, these are some of the things that we are beginning to notice now. We're beginning to really let go of an old paradigm, an old energy, an old pattern. We are going to be letting go of old relationship dynamics where we have had expectations that we've put on ourselves or expectations that other people have put on us. And this can be even social expectations, okay? Because there can be some things that come up where you're like, wow, I always saw myself in this role only, or just this aspect of myself is what other people see of me. And that is sort of the vibe of March. There are some hard stops in March as well. And these hard stops have a lot to do with the degree in which this full moon is unfolding, and that is at 5 degrees. So this full moon is at 5 degrees. So what does that mean? It means that there is a pivot point. It means that there is truly a new beginning. It means that we are sort of taking a look at fake energies in the realm of Libra, Aries axis, which is where this full moon is unfolding. It's like a boredom, sort of. We're done with this energy. Something about it isn't working. We've been working over this energy over and over and over again. And now, once we loved it, now we hate it. These are the types of things that we're taking a look at with the 5th degree. What else with the 5th degree? It has a lot to do with big decision making. Okay, there's a decision that we're making. It starts with us first, and it comes through the mirror of the relationships that are in front of us. There are some relationships that are really pointing out through this full moon in March over and over again that change is now necessary, and we have to take a risk. And that is what comes with the 5th degree as well. Risk taking is another one that comes with it. So I find it very interesting because the beginning of this year has definitely felt like we've already lived so much life, and there's been a lot of drama. There's been a lot of things that are being pointed out that are not working. There is a lot of sort of like, I have to go up against this energy. I really want to free myself. And what this full moon and the month of March is really highlighting is where Jupiter and Uranus are at the time of this particular full moon. Jupiter and Uranus are going to be in a conversation. And that conversation has a lot to do with releasing old guilt, okay? Feeling guilty about shit, feeling like that it's this expectation of you, that you have to put on this facade, this role, this part about you that has nothing to do with the energy anymore. Like, it's not working. So it's sort of like, imagine, and I know maybe some of you can relate to this, okay? Imagine sitting in your car, you have to hype yourself up before you go into like a crowd of people. And you're like, I can totally do this. I can, deal with people. I can be around these certain types of people, and you have to like really summon up the energy. You have to really like, as annoyed as you are, you're like, I can do this. And there's a part about this full moon that has that same similar energy, is that there is a realization that, okay, I really don't get along with this group of people, or I really don't vibe with this anymore. Where are the cool people at? Why is this energy so fucking lame, basically, is what we are taking a look at. And this Jupiter-Uranus situation that is coming in the month of March is big. It's dramatic, okay? There could be a dramatic, sudden decision that is being made, and all of a sudden it turns for the better. Something is turning for the better. There is a better option that is becoming available at this time. There's sort of like, I'm fucking done with this shit type of energy that comes with this as well, because all of a sudden you realize that there is a much, much better option that is arising. What is also sticking out to me at this time is that Mercury is going to be in the sign of Aries now, ahead of Chiron, ahead of the nodes at 23 degrees, which means that the conversations that we're having are coming with a light at the end of the tunnel, meaning there is a new conversation that is arising. There is a new conversation that leads to this pivot point even more so. It's a final decision that comes with finally letting go of something that seemed heavy, something that seemed boring, something that seemed energy sort of draining. Because 23, that's where the Mercury placement and the degree is going to be. That Mercury placement basically says our conversations are a fresh start, but there's also a very nice supportive energy that comes with this. So the first timeline I would say that we're taking a look at here, or the first sort of frequency that we're taking a look at all the way leading up to sort of the end of March, is where are the better options? Where are the better opportunities? Where's the better outcome? Where's the better vibe? Where are the cool people at? Like, I want to be part of something that feels like something that goes somewhere, even a part of it that feels maybe like it's bigger, bolder, better. There's a purpose behind it. That is sort of the energy underneath that we're sort of seeking, but it can come with some conversations and instances and things that are happening where you're like, is this it? Is this really it? You're like looking around like, is this really it? Like this is all? Or is there more? And then bam, that full moon happens and it initiates this. There is a dramatic change. There is a better option. There is a freeing that comes out of it and a liberation that comes out of, this energy that we're stuck in, or we're reliving it over and over again. Now, what's also really interesting, I think, during this particular month is the nodes. At the time of this full moon, the nodes, the north and south node, are going to be at 15 degrees. That means that we could have this sort of moment where we're taking a look at relationship dynamics that we were a part of for a particular aesthetic reason. There could be an insecurity that's coupled with this aesthetic reason. There can be sort of this, like, an issue around what looks good, what doesn't look good. So beauty is a part, aesthetic stuff is a part of this conversation during this full moon, which I thought was really, really interesting, because insecurities are being pointed out so that we can work through them. But it has to do with relationship dynamics and patterns that sort of we thought we needed to be in forever, or we didn't even realize that we were a part of this kind of a dynamic in relationships. I think that is what's also very fascinating about this particular full moon energy and overall. Hey, Steph. So this is the energy that we're taking a look at when we are coming into March. Of course, there's always more happening. Every single day, there's a lot more that's unfolding. So, just know that the biggest sort of energy that I'm taking a look at for March is going to be this full moon. It is quite interesting. The 2 weeks after this full moon, we are going to be even more clear where life is taking us next. And it's exciting. And so there's a sense of excitement that is absolutely returning. If you felt like maybe excitement is missing, don't worry. It's coming. It's coming our way. Excitement is coming back. Okay. So there is that. I think overall this year has a lot of surprising elements in it anyway, just because we've got a big change, and that is Pluto is making new moves, which has to do with Aquarius. It has to do with the new era that is starting, and it has a lot to do with, listen, if you don't vibe with the shit, it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You're gonna be miserable at some point. And so I think these are a lot of the instances that are being pointed out. At the same time, there is a huge change that is unfolding in regards to energies that keep us in these guilty patterns with people. Oh, I'm doing it out of guilt. I'm doing it because I need to be nice. Or you're doing it because you never realized that you were fake nice. to certain situations, social settings. These are the types of things that, we are kind of working out. This year has a lot to do with how you feel. It has a lot to do with the truth of how you feel. And it has a lot to do with, are you taking the opportunities that are coming your way? 2024 has a lot to do with the Uranus flavor. It also has a lot to do with the Saturn and Pluto flavor, because, Saturn is in Pisces. That means there is something sacrificial that is unfolding depending on where Saturn is in your house. So definitely pay attention to this, okay? I did do a lot of predictions in regards to the first 6 months of what you can expect. And that has a lot to do with the outlook on Saturn. So definitely make sure you go back and you are, looking at this if you are interested in working these energies in your favor, okay? Because astrology only works if there is an awareness that you have to sort of bring to things. Otherwise, you're just living your life, and, it's like everything occurs as if there's not a whole lot of choice in it, which that's why I love and how I use astrology myself. Somebody said I have Saturn in my 5th house. Yeah, so Saturn in the 5th house, that is really taking a look at your purpose, how you're even maybe fitting into the picture of having fun overall. Romantic stuff can come up. It can come up in the realm of like competition, honestly. Like if you were a part of anything in your life that felt like there was a drive, there was ambition that you had, how come that ambition isn't there anymore? These are types of things that you could be changing or taking a look at, or a sacrifice that you may have to make that have to do with your heart, what you love. And let's not forget, the 5th house always has to do with children too. So if you have children, you could be in a place where you have to pay a lot more attention to your kids, and in general, any kind of energies that have to do with the childlike sort of part about yourself. Somebody said, how about Saturn in the 2nd house? Yeah, so Saturn in the 2nd house has a lot to do with money. Okay, it has a lot to do with money. It also has to do, this is really interesting that you're asking this, because Saturn in the 2nd house has a lot to do, in my observation, with also what is being gifted to you, or things that are coming, to you via other people, because it's Saturn in Pisces. So if Saturn in Pisces is in your 2nd house, the obligations or even the spiritual connection you have to other people, what is out of alignment, what needs to be in alignment, those are the types of things you could be taking a look at. What are you accepting from other people that make you feel obligated? Is there a sacrifice that you're making that isn't necessarily a sacrifice moving forward? Something has to die off in this area. You have to separate yourself from something in regards to productivity, money, how you feel just worthy in general when it comes to tangible items in your life, how you operate life with what it is that you need. These are some of the things that you could be taking a look at. If you guys have any more questions, drop them into the comments. It can be anything, right? Like if you have questions about astrology in general, you can always drop them into the comments too. It doesn't have to do just with your placements, but yeah, absolutely. What's your name? I don't know how to pronounce your IG handle. Drop your name in there, or let me know what sign you are. Huh. Well, that's very similar to my name. That's interesting. Okay, so let's move on. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of the 12 signs. And we're going to just take a look at what are some of the energies that are going to be working for you. Where's the full moon happening? What are some of the energies that are working for you this month? And then what is it that you're really needing to let go of? Because every full moon comes with that kind of a thing, right? It's like, okay, we got to let go of something. Something is building up. There's a tension, whether it's emotionally, whether it is in the physical form, like in real life. Okay, like what is it that we need to, let go of? These are the things that we're going to be taking a look at. So if you're joining in on the live for the first time, or if you are watching this on YouTube, then let me know where you're tuning in from. I always love hearing from you guys. It's so fun to hear like where you're tuning in from, and also what your signs are, because it always, keeps me totally plugged in with what you are taking a look at personally for you in your life and how the chart is unfolding for you. I find that fascinating. So drop those comments, let me know. And I am going to be taking a look at the chart. Let's take a look here. We're gonna set this chart and we're gonna start with Aries and Aries rising. What is it that is unfolding this month for you, Aries? Well, Aries, you're taking a look at wanting to come out with a new sort of identity or a persona or a new part about yourself that, is going through a change. What kind of change? Well, how do other people view you? What have other people known you for? Maybe other people have known you for a part about yourself that you've always, shared with them. They've only known you for being maybe always the strong person, okay? And now, or always the person that was bringing some kind of vibe to the picture, especially in relationships. And now there's a new part about you that has to come forth. It has to come out. And I think the month of March is going to bring a lot of invitations to be distracted with the same old pattern where people are viewing you in this one way. And that is not going to work for you in March. This is what you need to let go of, because you're getting the opportunity to kind of show more about yourself, where you've made some insights and you have made some epiphanies. And there's a new part about you that is a lot more maybe in relationships, a lot more sort of strong from a different point of view, but it's softer, okay? There's the word softness that kind of comes up with this. You have this full moon happening between your relationship house, okay? It can also have to do with partners or partnerships that you have, or people that are a part of your life that, always viewed you for only one way. And so now, there is sort of a boredom there. You have to do things very, differently in order to be seen differently. So stick to the things that you know intuitively are the best right now to stick to. When it comes to relationships, stick to your true feelings, stick to how you want people to view you, but also get this communication across. And I think you're getting this opportunity to do that this month anyway. So that is going to work for you, is your intuition and what you feel, how you feel. Those are things that are going to be very important. And that is actually what is bringing the excitement back as well, because you will have new conversations with new people that you will meet this month that will be very exciting. So stick to the new and know that there is distractions that could be holding you back, but don't walk backwards. We're not going that way. So moving on to Taurus and Taurus rising. Okay, so interesting stuff, Taurus, right now. I think for a lot of you, the thing that you're letting go of this month is everything that you have learned up until now. All the stuff that you have done has made a lot of sense. It's made a lot of sense, okay? This stuff is going to be unfolding between your 12th and the 6th house. So it's the meaning of life. There's a lot of things that you are viewing that has to do with the past and what the past has done, the experiences that have sort of left you to where you're at now, okay? So there is a new energy that's incoming for many of you that has to do with relationship dynamics that have hurt you, that have broken your heart, but you're over them now. So you get an opportunity to change your lifestyle. So you cannot, okay, stick to the things that you know have been working. This month is a huge invitation to go up against the things that have made sense so far. There is a risk taking here that is involved. Maybe not that easy for you to kind of move towards those things. But this month is inviting you to basically pay attention to, okay, there's a risk here. Are you going to take this risk? Are you going to give yourself now this opportunity to do things very different? And you may have to face your fears with all of this. And you may have to face the fact that you might feel a little bit like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't like, this is a huge step. If I put in that application, if I am, really moving out of the state, if I am making this, big purchase or this lifestyle change, how will I be moving forward? Because there's some comfort zones that you are being invited to let go. I will leave it at that. You tell me how this month is unfolding for you. I'm like curious to know now. Yeah, Taurus, big stuff coming for you. But I think it's all very, very good stuff. It's just, are you going to take the invitation to go for the thing that you've never done before? Which, yeah, Taurus, I feel for ya. It's going to be a good month though. Okay, so Gemini and the Gemini rising. Okay, this is unfolding between your 11th house and the 5th house. What is that? Well, it's friends, it's social reputation. It's like, are you having fun in life? It's competition. Sometimes it can be friendly competition, sometimes it's not. The 5th house can also have stuff to do with like risk-taking, gambling, sports. For some of you, it'll have to do with sports. But something that you're doing that has some kind of competitive, edge to it, or it constantly puts you into this place where you have to put ambition forth, especially because we're taking a look at Aries. So for you, this will have to do with you letting go of these fears that you have, that if you let go of certain ideas of how you need to show up in social settings with friends and your public reputation, like being seen in a particular way, or being maybe even addicted to being seen in a certain light, or feeling like you need to be recognized only via one channel, only via one path, only via this one outlet that you have, what will happen? There is a fear there to let this go. And it has a lot to do with who you are at this time. And you're starting to maybe realize, oh yeah, like what's really going to work for me is that there's times where I have to just pull back and take care of myself. And maybe I need to pull back and take care of myself in a way where I have to protect what is happening outside of the realm of social settings. Like when you pull back, what's really most important to you, how you have fun behind the scenes, may not be always matching and putting you into the best position out there, okay, with others or your friends, or there could be a push-pull between your public reputation and like who you really are, okay, what really is most important to you. There are some things that come up here, some insecurities, or maybe you realizing something is outdated and you now have to move into a new energy. Does it really belong in your life to show up in social settings a particular way, with friends a particular way? These are some of the things that I believe that you are going to start to work out now. Okay, so moving on to Cancer and Cancer rising. This is going to be happening in your career, okay, between your career and your home life. Well, for a particular amount of time, you felt like maybe you weren't free. Ties into also how you live, ties also into what you think you need in order to really, feel like really good in life. That has to do with your home, the home settings. It also has to do with your upbringing, a lot of things that you have maybe learned about, what you actually need in order to be out there in the world and succeed. Okay? Now, I think for a lot of you, you have to maybe let something go that you associated with, this is the only way to live. This is the only way to feel free. This is the only outlook on life. Like, I have to be in my career a particular way in order for me to feel comfortable with my house. I have to make X amount of money in order for me to, live a particular way, or something like this is coming up, okay? And I think what's unexpected for you is that finally you're coming to a point with this particular full moon where you are going to let go of a certain idea that kept you very constrained. It kept you very like, that's the only outlook I had. It felt very heavy. Obligations, responsibilities tied in with relationships at work that didn't let you see a better option, a better opportunity, better people to be around, a better environment. So there's a dramatic change in an opportunity that comes via your job, okay? Maybe a promotion, maybe an opportunity for you to even step away from a particular promotion that is no longer working this way, or stepping it way up that you didn't expect this opportunity to come your way. So I think for a lot of you, you're going to be surprised that it's time for you to really push your life in a different direction now. And there might be like a little bit of this moment or this phase when this is unfolding that you feel like, okay, can I really handle all of this? And the answer is yes, you can handle it. There's nothing that the universe is pushing in front of us that it feel like we wouldn't be able to honestly handle, right? It's just that we have to be prepared with our own, everything, mind, body, spirit. So I think that is sort of the moment that you need here to remind yourself that you can handle this type of change. I am going to step away real quick because I'm going to turn the fan on, because all of a sudden my light is definitely heating up and it is hot in here. Hold on one second. I'm going to be right back. Okay, I'm back. If you're here in the chat, you haven't introduced yourself, let me know where you're tuning in from. I think Instagram live sometimes can be like super freaking slow. Like when you guys are, commenting and stuff, it comes through on my end a little bit slower. But let me know where you're tuning in from. Hi, how are you? It's so nice to connect. What is your sign? I want to know what your sign is. So Cancer, that's the T, okay, for you at this time, is that you got to work things out between your home life and your career, but there's a liberation at the end of the month that you are going to be experiencing, and it's going to be a huge relief for you. Might be a situation that you have been stuck with work, that people try to make you look a certain way. People try to maybe paint you in a certain light, or they questioned you. And now this particular pattern is coming to an end. Brilliant. Goodbye to all those negative people that try to make you look a particular way. So I think that freedom is coming back. And so you're going to let go of this very heavy sort of shit show that you had to deal with, So I think for a lot of the Cancers, is going to be a really good turn of events at the end of the month. All right. Moving on to Leo. How's it going out there, Leo? I feel like a lot of you are starting to feel the energy kind of coming back. What do I mean by that? You may have felt that the energies have been really off. It hasn't been very welcoming for all the Leos, in the sense that everything has felt sort of, twisted, or, people are just too sensitive. Like they're not on the same vibe as you are. They're like just not having fun with life anymore. And I think that this really impacted you. And it kind of started several years ago. You know, it wasn't just like now. I think for a lot of you, it started several years ago. So your mindset has been sort of impacted by a lot of this. So this full moon is going to highlight mindset and how you're approaching things and in communication in general. But it's also going to highlight connections you have with people that think so differently than you. And there is a moment here where I think what you're letting go of is that you sort of had to maybe dim yourself or put yourself into sort of this place where you've been bored with this sort of vibe, like nothing's been happening, no like true beginning has been here, maybe not a supportive even energy amongst people that are like-minded or share the same kind of outlook as you, or your tribe, or like people that are like in the same kind of field as you are. Maybe you felt like there hasn't been a lot of fun with this area of your life. And so what's returning now is that you're going to have an experience this month that is going to be unexpected, and it's going to teach you that the time is now to create it, and you may have to create a new, bolder sort of approach to your life and how you share yourself, what you're communicating at this time. There's sort of a new kind of way in which you want to relate, okay, to relationships. And so what you're letting go of is sort of dealing with what you think life is throwing at you. And maybe you felt like this is the only way that, you know, life is going right now, and you kind of have to deal with it. You couldn't change it, or you felt like you didn't have a better option. There's an incident that's happening that is going to shake you up this month, and it has a lot to do with you realizing that your life is happening right now. It's no other time. Like, you have to change things right now, and if you change them, then the like-minded people or the fun is going to come towards you. You are not sort of a victim to these things. And I think that that is going to be the biggest sort of epiphany this month, is that there's relationships that will come into your life that you're going to meet that are going to prove to you that, you know, it's time for you to build something new now. It's time for you to really go into the energies and unpack what else you can create, because everything you've done so far has helped you to succeed. But now you may have to be a little bit bolder with what it is that you want in your life, and it has a lot to do with how you communicate. It has a lot to do with maybe how you present yourself on social media. What is it that you're putting out there with other people? And it could be as big as social media, okay, or something that you're doing out there on YouTube, or how you're sharing yourself. Maybe you are really successful in some of these areas, or it can have to do with just your immediate environment, the place that you're in, the people that you're working with, okay? There might be sort of a change or something that you were looking for, the excitement, and that excitement is returning. Now, some of you will be super busy this month with having to maybe travel back and forth to places. So again, there is an incident that is going to happen that is going to show you it's time for you to unpack what you want to create next, what you want to do next in your life. And you need to start this process now. There's no other time. Okay, moving on to Virgo and Virgo rising. Wow, it's been a time where I think it's been really hard to know who to trust. I know that some of you know what I'm talking about. It's been really hard to understand who to trust. This full moon is unfolding in your trust house, okay? It has to do with the 8th house and the 2nd house. This has to do with money, your commitments, who you're trusting. What I think that you are going to recognize now, that your relationships have changed a lot and your perception of life is changing. Why? Because you have the support that it is that you need. There's unexpected stuff that is coming up this month where you are going to start to realize that the relationships that are in your life now are really supporting you. There is a couple of people here that are happy and willing to work with you on the next steps, the next projects, productivity, money, investments, any kind of risk that you feel like you are going to be taking that has a lot to do with improving your life and ultimately your worth. This has to do with money, or doesn't have to do with money. It can have to do with something that makes you just feel really like this is my worth. Okay. These are the types of things that you're trusting again. These are the types of things that are changing. It requires for you to make a sacrifice. It requires for you to make a sacrifice, Virgo. I cannot say this enough. You have to sacrifice something. It has to do with your time, how you're spending your time. It has to do also with if you're wanting to make this next leap, especially with money, especially with something that you want later down the road in the physical sense, monetary, then this sacrifice has to be made. You let me know what that is, and if you are coming about this energy, like if you're feeling this energy, let me know in the comment section below, okay? Okay, now let's take a look at, hold on one second. Yep, this camera overheated too. I've got camera issues going on right now, so this camera kind of like shut off. Hold on. Let me just see if it's gonna turn back on. I don't think so. Nope, it's dead. All right, we're moving on to Libra and Libra rising. Do we have any Libras in the chat? Any Libras in the chat? Anybody that is a Libra? I'm a Libra rising. Hello to all the Libras if you're watching this. So, if you're watching this, Libra, what is happening for you? It is going to be obviously the opposite as Aries. So where this is highlighting for you is going to be who you are, your own personal sort of journey and relationship dynamics, okay? So there can be a little bit of this realization now that you have a plan and you are really guided towards this plan. You are changing, you know, your whole entire life path at this time. Now realizing this plan comes with people who try to hold you back. People who try to hold you back from this. So you may have to have a conversation with certain people and really let them know how you feel this month. This is going to be very important because you cannot be held back anymore, and this is going to be a huge thing this month. You cannot be held back. You need supportive energy. It cannot be any other way. The freeing energy of this month is going to give you better options to do better business, to, you know, present yourself better, stronger, with better boundaries, and you are just done with certain lame ass people. Okay? That's just the truth. You are done with certain lame people. You cannot do this anymore. It's a dramatic change on their end, not on yours. And that is what you need to remind yourself. You cannot feel guilty for how things are changing in your life because they are for the better. And some people, they just, you know, every time you try to make like a change for the better, there's some people guaranteed that are just going to be assholes about it. You know, what can I tell you? Like, that is essentially the energy that you're going to be dealing with. And you know, they might not be happy for you, and that's just a realization that is coming through, and you can't feel guilty about, you know, if their feelings are going to be hurt. You already know their feelings are going to be hurt, but like, it's not about them right now. It is about you. So really embrace this time and embrace this freeing experience that you're going to have. And there is actually a really big opportunity that is coming your way where you're going to be able to just have a fresh start and maybe even make more money, okay? And this is going to be really, really important. And I say make more money because remember, Jupiter and Uranus are going to be in your 8th house, the house of money and investments. So investing your time into things that will, you know, that feel good, that you trust, are going to pay off in the long term. Okay, Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio. Lifestyle changes. We have been talking about this. There is sort of a trust in what feels good in your life that's been missing. The electricity has been maybe missing, or you felt like things have been dull in a certain type of way. And, you've been looking at this for a while. You've understood that maybe some things are in a stage of letting go. Ultimately, at the conscious level, you may have thought okay, there's been relationship changes, there've been lifestyle changes, and these changes have felt maybe weird, and you have been in a place of transition. Well, that is coming to an end now, okay? This is happening between your lifestyle and your faith. And so one of the things that you are letting go of is things that you've kind of settled for that weren't feeling real. But what's returning now is that there are certain routines, there are certain patterns, there are certain practices even that you are bringing back, or you are incorporating into your day-to-day lifestyle, or new things that you're incorporating into your day-to-day lifestyle that are going to bring the magic back to your life. It's exciting. It's a new path. You are doing something very different. You might put a lot of hard work into it over the next couple of weeks, maybe even up to 3 months, but the magic is returning in your life. There is a focus on the better, okay? Focus on bettering yourself, making your lifestyle and your routines the priority. That is what the focus is going to be this month. And there is a level of freeing and liberation that comes out of it that I think that you have been sort of maybe even looking for, but you didn't know when the timing was going to be right. The timing is now, okay? That weird feeling, that kind of what is happening, why is it not maybe moving forward, or when is it going to move forward? That dull energy is coming to an end, and I love this for you, okay? So there is a new journey. Embrace this. And there's sort of a releasing of an expectation you had of yourself that your lifestyle could only be one way. It could only look one way. So there is a new sort of focus that you're going to have that is going to unfold, and it's going to become a much bigger thing down the road. This lifestyle change isn't just a lifestyle change. It's a lifestyle change for really a new life force that is taking place that you are it's going to fuel you for the long term. Okay, the stuff that you're doing from the moment you wake up until you go to bed, this shit's going to fuel you from now on, moving into the next several years. So I love this for you. Let me know how things are unfolding. Okay, so for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. Okay, groups and social reputation, friends, acquaintances, people that you're, a part of, people that are in the same exact, maybe even work environment, or some kind of hobby that you guys are sharing, that you are in the same, group setting. I think the thing that you are learning, and this is going to be a little bit of a paradox, I think, for a lot of you this month, Sagittarius, is that you felt like you needed to gain a lot of velocity, a lot of speed to get to a certain status or a certain level. A lot of you have maybe started something brand new that has sort of a competitive nature to it, okay? It could have been a sport. It could have been like a fitness thing that you started. Maybe you're a part of a new fitness group, okay? And you felt like you needed to push a lot of energy into this right away. You need to gain speed. And during this process, you may have noticed that you've created sort of this energy where you're missing a little bit of the heart and all of that, what is really important. This is going to be pointed out to you via relationships. People are going to be pointing this out to you, but it might not be like a conversation that people are having. It might be that something dramatic might be happening, or some drama might be unfolding, and then you have to sort of pull back and realize, oh, this thing is happening because I am moving too fast. I am not paying attention to the things that actually are super important to me. Some kind of epiphany is coming, okay, in this realm. I think March overall is going to feel very divine to you, because you are going to feel a lot more objective towards your life, your friends, social reputation, the stuff that you feel is very important to you. It gives you a lot of purpose. It makes you feel important, okay? There's a lot of focus on that. But the thing is that, what feels off is the connection between speed and slowing down enough so that you can work on the things that you really want to point out in your life that has heart in it, that has warmth in it, that has generosity in it. Those are the types of themes that I see are missing right now. So there's a pivot point, there's a dramatic change because of some dramatic sort of incident that is happening or some drama that is unfolding where you are forced to pay attention to, oh yeah, like I could have avoided this drama. This drama didn't have to unfold if I would have taken responsibility for the fact that I am moving too fast. These are some of the things that I think that you are going to be, really paying attention to, that the month of March is going to point out to you, so that you're taking out more of the things that are feeling fake and really putting in the things that are feeling real in your life. So let me know how everything is going, Sagittarius. I think this is going to be really exciting. I'm not sure that it's always easy for you to slow down, but this month is going to pay off. Slow down is going to pay off for you, okay? Now, moving on to Capricorn and Capricorn rising. Well, for you guys, wow, your home life and your work life is once again being pointed out. How is it being pointed out? There's relationships right now that are really taking from you, okay? There are family members, maybe even co-workers, maybe even people that you're working with, okay, that are showing to you that your generosity is being taken advantage of. This is truly going to be a big eye-opening thing. And why are they taking advantage of this? Why is there something coming up like this right now? It's because there is a certain role that you've played out there in the world with people, your social sort of expectation that people have maybe had, or you just kind of, you didn't even know there was some kind of expectation that people had of you when it came to your work. Like, let's say you're running a company, okay? And there are certain people that are always used to you maybe not pointing out that we have to be more responsible for certain aspects of the business. And you were just letting that slide. But this month, you can't. You can't let it slide. You can't let certain things slide anymore because it is not bringing you to where you want to go. And it's also not freeing you from how you want to live. Okay? Because you end up maybe doing all the work. You end up maybe putting too much work on you. So there's a liberation, a dramatic change when it comes to your home life and what you want to accomplish with home. And why this is really important. There's something really important about this because something at home needs your attention. That is what I'm seeing, okay? You have to let go of making it work for every single person at this time. Maybe for a little while, okay? And what you want really wants you to, but you have to create the space and the time for it. So it has a lot to do with space and time. It has a lot to do with how you show up with other people. And it has a lot to do with responsibilities at work. So you may have to delegate some of this work. You may have to stop sort of making excuses for certain parts in the business that are happening, that are not happening. And now, okay, you are having to deal with this. And it might feel dramatic at first, but no, it's not going to be for the long term. There's actually more options that will become available of how you can free your time and your space. And yeah, so just know it is going to work out for the better. Just at first, it's not going to feel natural, okay, to step up and step into this new version of how you want to show up at work with other people and how you want to free your time at home. So expectations are key. Letting go of those expectations that you kind of fit into and knowing that it's time for change is going to help you immensely this month. Moving on to Aquarius and Aquarius rising. Anybody who is in the chat that wants me to add them, heck no, I'm not adding you to into my life. So go away. I don't know you, so I'm not going to be adding you into this live, So I always have this on here. I'm sure other people experience it as well when they're going onto the lives. There's always one person that wants to be like, add me to the live and let's do this live, reading together, or can you read my, chart for free? The answer is no. The answer is absolutely no. So don't waste your time. Okay, so Aquarius and Aquarius rising, This is going to be happening and unfolding with your mindset houses, okay, with the knowledge houses. And it has a lot to do with maybe publishing also new things. Okay, there could be a new project you're trying to publish, you're trying to get it, off the ground. And you have been taking a look at something that has been really in alignment with your faith and with what it is that you're really believing in. So it has a bigger purpose, it has a bigger meaning to you, a project, for example, an outlook on life, a knowledge that you have gained, something that you've learned over the last maybe even 6 months. And so for many of you, there is a change, a dramatic change, a pivot point, a decision that you might be making that is going to be coming up here during the month of March, that finally you're going to say to yourself, I'm not going to wait anymore. Like, the time is now for me to start this. The time is now for me to announce this. The time is now for me to publish this thing, or to start, showing the world what it is that I am believing in. And so there is a sort of new independence that you're claiming in this area that has a lot to do with your thoughts, has a lot to do with what you're thinking, how you want to share yourself with other people. And what you're communicating at this time is going to also, change. You are letting go of not being independent. Maybe you were dealing with a situation that didn't allow for you to be independent with projects or things that are important to you, or some kind of publishing in the social media realm, products, something like this, that you may have dealt with, that now you are going to have a huge dramatic change. There's a final decision that frees you, that you are letting go. And I like this for you because there's sort of a chain of events that are going to happen after this that have a lot to do with literally pushing out one thing after another that you have been, maybe you felt like it wasn't the right time, you couldn't work on these things, but now you're going to be obsessed. There's an obsession. For some of you, I don't know, like, this has to do maybe even with the creation of an app. Like, there's a lot here that feels like it's true to you, it's unique to you, it is true to how you believe, what you believe, how you view things, and as a result of it, other people benefit from this as well. So there's like a dramatic change in all of this, and it's also going to change up the way that you live. Okay, there is a change in home life that is happening as well. Some of you could have a dramatic change in your in like maybe you're buying a house or a property or something like this, that there's like a change in this as well that is coming with this. So it's going to positively impact many different areas of your life. That's what I'm seeing here for Aquarius and Aquarius rising. Pisces and Pisces rising. Okay, for Pisces and Pisces rising, this is going to have to do with money, productivity, with your commitment and the loyalty that you have to certain people. Okay, so what's happening here? I think that this whole entire time, maybe you thought you were alone having to deal with money aspects, with loyalties, with maybe productivity, okay? How you're being productive, how you're managing money, opportunities, sales maybe, or in general, assets or things that are around you, okay? Maybe you wanted to be productive in a certain way, but you felt like you were alone. You didn't have the resources that you needed, and now the resources are becoming available. And these resources that are becoming available are going to be making you a lot faster. Now, when I say faster, speed will matter this month for you, Pisces. Speed will matter this month. Why will it matter? Because so far you've gone along a certain kind of speed, and it brought you certain type of abundance or productivity. Now you have to become faster, and in order to become faster, you really have to let go of the idea that you have to go about it in a particular timeline. There may have been obstacles in the past, but you've overcome them. And I'm here to remind you that you have overcome them. I'm here to remind you, you do not have to be at the same speed, okay? Listen up, you do not have to be at the same speed anymore. You can totally become faster with the resources that you have, but you gotta trust it. This is going to become very, very important. Like, let's say it is a project where you've been wanting to pay something off, or you've been needing resources to, see your way to buying this land or property, or buying this book, whatever, okay, with money or productivity. Now you're going to be able to see your way through how you're going to do that, but you have to trust it and allow for yourself to become faster. You will deal with any kind of other challenges that may come up with gaining speed later down the road. It's fine. Like, just go for it. What I love about this energy for you this month is that you're going to feel like you're coming alive. Okay? Now, why are you feeling this way? Because your mindset is freed. Okay? Things that hold us back totally impact the way that we're thinking. It kind of dulls the way in the way in which we're thinking. It kind of dulls down sort of like our creativity, our mindset, and like we can't see things clearly. All that is moving out even more. There's like incoming fresh energy for you, and I love this. You're going to feel alive. You're going to feel like you're finally liberated. You don't have to stay stuck with certain ways in which you've been viewing things, or not being able to, really get your thoughts out there, not being able to put yourself out there with certain, environments, communities, and people. All of that is going away. You are going to push yourself sort of into a new realm, and it's going to surprise you, but just roll with it. Okay. This month is really a big invitation to just roll with it. Okay. We have covered all of the 12 signs. If you've joined me here live, thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. I also want to share with everybody, I am starting a new project. I am so excited about this. It is launching in May of 2024. It is called At Soul Sky 23. Join me there. I am going to be announcing more and more what this project is about. But let's just say that it's going to incorporate all the things numerology, and also all the things that feel good. Okay, feel good on your body, in your life, and have to do with manifestation. So I'm super excited about that. I hope that you guys will follow me on there. I'm going to leave the links below on this video. I'm also going to be, if you are watching this on YouTube, I am going to be leaving the links for everybody on YouTube on how you can join me to kind of follow along with the journey. Again, thank you so much for being here. I love every single one of you. I hope that you're going to have the best month. I'm wishing you the best month. Stay positive no matter what. There's a lot of things, a lot of shit that life is throwing at us right now, but I know that you can stay positive. I know that you can stay in a very good place in your mindset. All you have to do is just remind yourself. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.